Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm excited that we have decided to come together and let the people know essentially like why we became a part of Show Your Love. What was it that resonated with us on being ambassadors? And essentially why we even chose to continue this journey because we've been on it for a year or so now.
Yep.
So gonna start out and say, hey everybody, I'm Chemyeeka Tumblin. I am based in Nashville, Tennessee.
And my name is Eilish, and I am based in Bronx, New York.
And we are both public health professionals and in different aspects of public health. But overall, that is generally how we ended up here at Show Your Love Ambassadors.
Yeah, what a ride! It's been really interesting because it seems like Short Love was like my first real attempt at doing public health outside of like work, like the 9 to 5, and it was just like, oh, this is different, this is new, but it was like a community. It was like actually pretty cool to see like different people from across the country, show the ways in which they love themselves and love themselves to health, right?
I loved it. I
Yeah.
think the same for me. I had just taken a new role that in public health that was in maternal child health and dealing with preconception, which I still am a preconception health strategist. And my life and personal, like professional life, were basically starting to do that merge. That
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I found my calling. I'm walking in
Yeah.
my purpose, and I was doing more on focusing on my own health. I was doing a lot of talking with my own physicians and also creating strategies and content before content creation and being a blogger or being a social media influencer. It was
It's a
still on
whole
the rise.
world.
Yeah,
It's a whole world, right?
it wasn't like as big as it is now. It was like just forming
Hmm.
and understanding what all those things were. And then it So Your Love was introduced to me, and it was like, yo, I want to be a part of that. Not only to basically build my skills, but also for me, it was a form of accountability
Hmm.
because it was a way like to ensure that I continue to grow, to learn more, and also to share the knowledge I'm growing because I have this platform now that I'm sharing it with.
Yep.
And while it's me getting healthy, it's also being able to get healthy and show others they can do it too.
I agree. It's like I felt like we've grown up with Show Your Love,
Yeah.
because it was, I think, at this point maybe like a year or two, and my reason for joining it was basically because I didn't see much conversation about like women over 25, when it came to like their health, and also like just sort of like where they were in their life, because at that point it's just sort of like, all right, you might have graduated grad school already, or you have your first degree, undergrad degree, and then you're just like, okay, what's next? My career. Okay, so if your career started, cool, so what's next after that? A
Mm-hmm.
baby, like family, a husband, a house, the American dream, the white picket fence, and all of those sort of things. And I felt like it wasn't enough conversation about how we should be taking care of our health. Because like you, I started off maternal child health. I've been doing maternal child health for about 10 years now. And I started off doing home visiting. And I was basically a health educator. And I went to the home and I had to, help folks, journey through their pregnancy. All the while, I didn't have a child yet. And I'm still on the fence about having one. Don't know exactly, but I do know that it's certain things that I've witnessed just doing home visiting, doing case management, doing health education with those who are prenatal postpartum. And it's sort of like, okay, so this happened to you, but what could have happened before you got pregnant so you could have avoided this thing from happening? So what lesson is it in there for me? So what should I be doing, person over 25 at the time, to circumvent, like what we hear in the news all the time, folks dying in labor and delivery, via different reasons why, but also the complications that come as a result of just like, what has gone on with our bodies, harboring the feelings of oppression and trauma and racism and all of those sort of things. How does that manifest in our body, and what can we do to sort of like simmer that down so that we can go on a labor delivery and make it out, should we go down that route in our life to become parents?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you mentioned that in particular because I want to, I guess, ask some questions from there around show your love is evolving
Right.
and the messaging is tailoring more now to cover why women and men are waiting till later to
Mm-hmm.
have children, and not necessarily so much the why as shifting the message to understand because our audience is waiting till later in life to have children. There are discussions that weren't had that's like after college this is what dating looks like and being
Yep.
safe. After
Yep.
college this is what it looks like to intentionally family plan, because at
Mm-hmm.
some point the messaging shifts from here's how to prevent a pregnancy to here's how to have a healthy pregnancy
Yep.
and
Yep.
what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So for you knowing that that is one of the reasons that you became a show your love ambassador, how do you feel about this shift?
I'm for it. I'm with it. Let's get this work done. Just because, the whole idea of like just what we've been taught, right? Like my parents are, they have high school education. Graduate in the '60s, the late '60s, and they, basically children during the Jim Crow era in the Deep South, and so it's just sort of like they had aspirations for me. So it was like, all right, listen, we got through high school, but we gonna need to push you to get through college. So that means no baby. I had a boyfriend, but it was like, don't get pregnant. Every week was like, don't get pregnant. You know what I mean? And so, we internalized that and we just kept going and going and going and going. Like, all right, high school, undergrad, grad, get a career, get your money, start your 401k. But no one really talks about that family planning piece, and then also how many of us really got the sex talk. Like, I went to Catholic high school, we didn't get that talk. They weren't trying to give us that talk, and so I had where I learned it from, HBO after 11. No, I'm joking, but
Ooh, that
I'm
wasn't
not.
a talk. That was not a talk.
That
that,
wasn't a talk. It
that
wasn't
was
a talk.
gonna throw you off the diving boards into the deep ends. Okay.
Right. So I think it's really a smart idea to focus on like the folks who did wait, because now they call, if we were to get pregnant tomorrow, they would call us like geriatric pregnancy, which is real rude.
And it is rude, like, cause I'm not like you're not giving me senior benefits, so don't be out there like trying to put me on up in age. Unless you're gonna give me a discount on a meal, don't tell me I'm having a geriatric pregnancy. That's
Exactly.
how I
Or a
feel.
discount on the labor and delivery costs, right?
There you go. Take some off from being in this room. Don't
Yeah,
charge me
yes,
for this water cup I'm gonna take home.
exactly. I want all the apple juice. I want the hospital ice. All right, like for 3 months delivered to my house. No, I'm joking,
House
but
is a thing.
I I mean, thank God I haven't had to like stay in a hospital, but I visited family members that had to go, and I heard ICE is a thing. I heard it's a thing. But yeah, I just always felt like there was such a huge emphasis on the adolescent population when it came to, reproductive health and family planning and, all of those sort of aspects. But what about us, right? Who, and it wasn't that we were trying to like, or maybe we were we were trying to defy odds, right? Because it was like for a while that was a thing, teenage pregnancy. It has since gone down. Not to be, like for us to look down on those who decide to have children early, because that was a part of their journey, but it wasn't a part of ours. And so what do you do with our age group or our demographic that chose education over, having a child during those, earlier years of our life? So I think it's a step in the right direction.
And I have to say too, one of the things that I love about the fact that you mentioned, you know, the sex education piece. Like, did we get that? In counseling, I had a professor that did it as did they prepare you or did they abandon you? So were you
Mm,
sexually
wow.
prepared or were you sexually abandoned?
Mm,
And it's just like it sounds like, did they abandon the conversation? Like when
yep.
it came up, it was like, oh, something else is happening. Ooh, I
Yep.
hear dinner. Abstinence. The answer is no. And keep it moving like that. Like that's enough of a conversation. Like not even
Yes.
you should protect yourself. You should, and what is consent? Like,
Yep.
because if you're not telling me about sex, you're not telling me about consent. So
Right.
therefore, you're not even telling me how to protect myself if the conversation were to even arise. You're
Yep.
telling me to say no, but what happens when I say no and that person doesn't listen?
Mm.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all let us know if y'all like these conversations, because that can be a whole nother topic, and we're gonna
Come
have to,
back.
yeah, we got to make it a whole nother topic. But coming back to
Exactly.
why we chose to be Show Your Love ambassador, um, I think it's important when we look at that, when we're talking about sex, what goes along, what else other than sex happens to have a baby? Because we can say, okay, I'm ready to have a child, so let's get this party started, but that doesn't mean a baby's going to occur.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a woman, what does your well woman visit look like? Those are things we've talked about in Show Your Love. I know I've done a video. I know you've done some videos. And in mine, I literally walked someone through me going to get a woman visit. Save y'all details. It wasn't like personal view of everything, but there was pictures of like walking into the room, making sure you have the information you need to fill out on the form, making sure you're hydrated.
Yep.
Because, if you're requesting to have an STD panel or any work done, you're going to have to pee in the cup. We all know that process. But also, even the fact that some people didn't know that you don't automatically get an STD panel, you have to request one. So, do you feel comfortable advocating for yourself and requesting one? And do you understand why you would need to request the STD panel at every well woman visit? Like, some STDs don't show up, or STIs don't show up till later.
Yeah.
So it's important that you don't just say, "Oh, I got one done last year or 2 years ago, so I'm good." Really? Like, have you been with anybody since the last one? And
Yep.
even if you haven't been with anybody since the last one, bodies change. So we need to be aware of what's happening. Same thing with getting hormones tested. If you know you're close to getting ready to have a child, what hormones are you needing to make sure are aligned to make sure your body is in optimal, you know, functioning, and not only in optimal health, but make sure also that your body is able to sustain life.
And you know what, too? The whole aspect of like what I call dating your doctor. You know, we go through our insurance, we go sign on into our account, and we're looking and we're like, okay, that person's in network because it's like blasphemy to go out of network because, right, who want to pay for out of network? Let's be real, right? So you look at the list and you pick a name. You might pick it because it's close by the house or what have you to get there, and then they're not what you expected them to be. So that happened to me, and I had a doctor that was not of color, and she was like pretty cold and making a few assumptions. And so I went to see her a few times, and I ended up finding me a black gynecologist, and I was, you know, perfectly fine then because the rapport was different. I was able to ask more questions. I felt more comfortable asking questions. And so a lot of people think that they're just stuck with a doctor, whether they picked them through the provider list and they just landed on one, or if they were automatically assigned one, which also happens sometimes too. And so if you're not getting adequate care, it's okay to switch your provider, because, you know, that's a very intimate appointment. So you want to, you know, have a good relationship with your doctor so that you can really feel, the call to ask questions that is pertinent to your health.
And same, I just excited to say I have an appointment with the black gyno and a black PCP.
Mm,
And this isn't to say that, you can't have a doctor that's not of your ethnicity, of your background, and receive great care.
yeah.
My old OBG, or my old gyno, she was a pleasant woman, great conversation. It's just some issues are reoccurring, or I'm noting some patterns in my health, and I just kind of feel like they're being either brushed to the side, or it's being looked at as in, this is your family history, or it's common for African American women. There are a lot of things that are common for African American women, and a lot of things that are in my family history, such as
Mm-hmm.
diabetes and other things, but that doesn't mean I want them. So just because it's a
Yep.
part of my family history doesn't mean I'm taking it to mean that it's normal, or what my life should look like. And
Mm-hmm.
to have a physician that hears that and hears me when I say, like, I would like to know what's happening right now, and if this is a part of my family history, then what was causing my aunt to go through this, what was causing my
Right.
mom to go through this, and is this
Yep.
something that I can change, because I
Yep.
don't want to live the rest of my life like this, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually pass it on to my children. And
It's
if
like, help me understand. Help me
I,
understand. Yeah. Instead of just saying, oh, yeah, it's common. Oh, you're fine.
like,
Everybody does it. Everybody has it.
a lot of women go through irregular, cycles and other things. that doesn't, like, yes, it may be normal, but there are also things you can do, naturally to help with that, help with the
Mm-hmm.
pain that comes with that. So how do I do that? And then
Yep.
also so that I can educate my daughters. So if it's something they're going through too, I can help them understand from the time they start having a cycle how we
Right.
can alleviate these things so that they're not an older adult trying to figure out what's going on.
Have the talks that we couldn't have with our parents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the show came on, or because they the nervousness led them to like just running out the room. Oh, you know what? The rice about to burn. Let me get out of here. Let
Yeah.
me,
And it's almost like if you ask questions about your body, it was as if you were asking, like you were saying, I'm being active. Or if I'm
Yeah,
asking about my body, I'm thinking about having a baby. Like, no, I'm asking because it's me and I'm living in this body. Like, I
absolutely.
need to know how, like, what's happening to me.
Yep. And you know what's funny? When we were chatting earlier about like just like the talk and all of those sort of things and what we've learned about sex growing up, what we also don't learn enough is how to enjoy it.
True.
That's a whole nother video. But it's just sort of like, okay, folks over 25 are in a different phase of their life and their relationships are deeper, potentially deeper, leading to, marriage and all those sort of things. And it's sort of like, all right, how do I own all of this that I am, a grown woman, you know what I mean, who has not had a child yet. How do you own it? How do you have confidence? How do you, care for yourself mentally, physically, emotionally? So I think that should be an avenue that could be explored also. It's sort of like sex and pregnancy has been, I don't know, almost demonized a little bit, We're sort of like, oh, don't get pregnant though. Like, we're going to prevent. But some people want to have children. So maybe, we probably also been in that group where it was like, don't get pregnant, go to school, do these things, right? But at the same time, it's like, well, there was somebody who just like, you know what, I want one. How do I get there to have a child? How do I have a healthy baby? What do I need to know? It's not always about prevention, and we have to honor that part of that person's journey.
No, and you're right. And I think literally, um, when we think about that, what we also need to think about is that these are all things that make up who we are as individuals. They are what make up the life choices we create.
Yep.
And show your love. I remember part of the mission statement when I chose to be an ambassador was about making healthy decisions
Mm-hmm.
for healthy outcomes.
Yep.
Understanding your body, sexual desires, bodily functions, all those things help you to make healthy decisions.
Yep.
Because when what I don't know, I repeat. And then
Mm-hmm.
also what I don't understand, I often will misinterpret
Mm-hmm.
or go about handling the wrong way. And it's not
Yes.
that I'm doing it intentionally, it's just I don't fully understand what's happening. I just know I need to either get a fix or fix it, if that
Yes.
makes sense.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Uh, so, so kind of like, because we're gonna keep our, just letting you guys know why we became ambassadors, kind of short, just so hopefully you get an idea of what Show Your Love is, but then also how to check out the page, and explore what's happening around on Instagram and the website, and also maybe become an ambassador yourself. So the other thing I love as Show Your Love is branching out and expanding. We are seeking to be more gender, affirming with our
Yep.
language and with talking about how care should be received so that it's not looking at, you know, gender in such a structured way, but understanding that everyone deserves to have care and to have the care that reflects who they are, not
Yes.
who society sees them as. And then also the understanding that I can't say, here's how to make healthy decisions, but then be very biased
Mm-hmm.
or ignorant in my language of who should make healthy decisions.
Yep.
And then I think the next piece for me is we're not talking like we've added in the mental health piece. So as a mental health professional, like that to me was like, yes, because I'm always searching for how do we combine mental health with our public health messaging because it's one and the same.
It
Like
is.
mental health is a part of who I am. And it's important for me to have a holistic view of who I am and receive holistic care. So
Yep.
talking about things, especially now during the time of Corona, how does stress impact my body? When we're thinking about how I connect with individuals, how is that impacting? How does my mental health or how does my mindset impact how I interact with others and how I receive messaging that's being given to me,
Mhm.
how I act on that messaging? And then also from a mental health perspective of the understanding when I'm checking on my mental health as a part of my holistic body, there are things such as hormones and other things that my body's way of telling me that maybe they're out of balance is literally my mood.
Yep.
And if we don't discuss that, then we're not discussing all the red flags or we're not discussing all the health implications that come along with making those healthy decisions for healthier outcomes.
I agree. You said it all.
So as we, I guess, wrap up this segment of why we chose to be Show Your Love ambassadors and what we are enjoying about Show Your Love right now and the things that we've seen change, what would you say is like a take home point for anybody watching on basically what Show Your Love is or how it benefits us?
Okay. Ooh. Um, Show Your Love is to me a community, right? So you get to see what folks are doing nationally. You might get some ideas and some inspiration. You might be motivated because I know when you were running and doing your walking and you showing your watch, on a regular basis, like, ooh, maybe I should go for a jog. Although I sort of hate jogging, so one day I would be like you when I grow up, but as far as like what Show Your Love has benefited me with is just sort of like visibility, basically, right? In my family, exercising wasn't a thing. Again, my family is Southern. We like our fried foods, and it's sort of like, all right, this is what I've seen growing up. These are things I have not seen, but through my journey, through my journeying, through my getting to know different types of folks, living in New York City, which is such a like, you know, it's so many different cultures here. I got to learn different things when it came to like health, healing modalities, and other aspects of just like the whole holistic health and just take care of the body and the mind and how they intertwine. With Show Your Love, I get to serve as an example to folks that look like me who grew up in similar ways where, the chicken was fried hard. And I still love my mom's fried chicken. She fries so hard and I love it. Okay, that is not going to go away. But, they grew up on the fried foods, the soul food that we love, that we honor, that we, share memories. And so it's just sort of like, yeah, I get to serve as a example, just so that hey, look, you know what, I am a plus size Black girl from the Bronx. I'm doing yoga. Okay, I'm meditating. You could do it too. It's not just for a certain type of folks, it's for everybody. Let's join on in the fun. So for me, it just helps me stay true to just public health, period, to women's health, to just maternal child health, because I may or may not be a mama in the future, but also I am charged to help moms locally and nationally get through labor and delivery, be able to deliver a healthy baby, and then be able to enjoy life with said baby. And so I just want to just continue to be a motivator for those who feel like I don't know where to start when it comes to health and wellness. It's so many avenues. It's easy to get overwhelmed, but sometimes it's just like the little nuances that is considered wellness that people haven't really considered. So I get to put a creative spin on it through Show Your Love, and just, yeah, be just an inspiration.
Man, that that's a mouthful, but I think
It
it
is.
It's great because it shows how full and abundant the plate is right now with Show Your Love, and that there's something for everyone. And when we talked about the transition that Show Your Love is having and the many avenues they're including, that means that there's room for more ambassadors because we only represent a fraction of the
Mm-hmm.
audience. So we need other ambassadors who can speak to individuals and speak to their own health journeys that others will relate to, because we realize not everyone will relate to our journey. So we need other ambassadors to join this platform, to join this messaging, and share not only their journeys but share how others can benefit from what they've experienced and what they're currently experiencing.
Yep.
And I think for me, that is one of the big takeaways for me, especially like I said, when I started Show Your Love, it was a form of accountability. So an understanding, no matter where you are in your journey or your public health journey, Show Your Love could literally be a platform to help you on understanding how to get messaging out there to other audiences. It could be a platform depending on if you're a college student, graduating from, or a high school student about to graduate. It can be your way of branching out and understanding what public health messaging is and how do you, create content in a world such as this where a lot of people are using social media, especially since social media is our main platform right now for messaging, since we're not doing a lot of face-to-face events or doing a lot of going out into communities for reasons other than home visiting, spreading awareness about COVID, or um, just we don't just create things on the spot anymore and create avenues for people to come together because of the health implications. So social
Mm-hmm.
media is now our virtual community. So Show Your Love is a great place to learn how to host those events, how to create that content, and also how do you use your voice authentically to spread messaging and also understand, because a lot of people don't understand, public health is not about changing your voice or changing your views to fit a scope. It's about taking scopes and crafting it in your view, in your tone, with your cultural reference, with the knowledge and learned experience that you have, so that you can reach the people who can look at you and say, hey, there's something about this person that reminds me of me. Because if we all changed who we were to fit a mold in public health, then all of public health messaging would only be for a certain group of people. It would leave out a vast majority of people. So we need a diversified group of individuals to actually take the torch, so to speak, and be able to spread this public health messaging. And I feel that the torch in this sense is Show Your Love, and Show Your Love is providing us with a platform to be able to do so.
Yep. Love, show your love.
Yes. So, you all, we are going to wrap up this segment. We hope that you have enjoyed learning a little bit about why we became ambassadors, our journey, and also just Show Your Love as a messaging platform, as a campaign, and also basically, as we stated, get involved. Whether this is posted on Instagram, which means that you have found us, or posted on the website. We hope that you join us. Join us in using the hashtag, even if you decide not to be an ambassador. When you're making healthy decisions or, you know, doing a workout, maybe you are talking about some mental health message, or maybe you already have a platform and that platform is based on talking about things that are relevant to women, men, and individuals who are in a certain phase in their life. And if so, join us in using the hashtag Show Your Love Today, so that everyone can see your message and understand and gain a new sense of knowledge, but ultimately understand they're not alone, that
Right.
all of us are out here trying to, for the lack of better terms, get it how you live.
And
So,
also, you don't have to be a public health practitioner to do public health. Yeah.
yep. So we literally just learn by watching you live. So on that note, I want to say thank you for joining us. Once again, my name is Chemyeeka,
And I'm Eilish.
and thank you for joining us in our story on how we chose or why we chose to be Show Your Love ambassadors.